Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's meeting. I'm here with the Ecolens team and with Jona from Blockchain Founders Group. And in today's session, we'll speak about a very exciting topic, which is how to take your idea into the next level and create actually a working business out of it. And we have the perfect speaker tonight here because Jona is with Blockchain Founders Group, which is maybe he'll say or introduce it a bit better, but this is an accelerator where I have personally also participated in to take my idea into the next level and create Ecolens as a business. So Jona is part of the Blockchain Founders Group where they help other entrepreneurs like myself create profitable businesses out of their ideas. I want to, before we kick it off with Jona and with his presentation, I want to briefly talk about Ecolens. And for everyone here that doesn't know us, we are a talent platform which is powered by blockchain technology. So we first cater to the blockchain industry with having a lot of professionals on our platform that are blockchain professionals, and companies can hire from our talent pool for their open positions where they're looking for blockchain professionals. But also our platform works on different blockchains because we can process payments on our platform on different blockchain. We support Polygon, Ethereum, and Solana. And we also distribute on-chain credentials, and you can build your on-chain CV by participating in our online hackathons, in our bounties, or by getting a job through our platform. All right, so without further ado, Jona, I would also, before actually we kick off the presentation, would like to announce a very exciting partnership that we just closed together with Blockchain Founders Group, where participants in our hackathons, in our online hackathons, will have the chance to get the support of Blockchain Founders Group if they have a good business idea with a solid business case, to also participate in the programs of Blockchain Founders Group, get guidance, and also have access to further funding. But Jona, maybe you can also say a couple of words about that and then kick off our presentation for today.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks a lot for the introduction, Maria. Yeah, great to talk to today here, and yeah, about the partnership. Excited to partner between Blockchain Founders Group and Ecolens, because I think there are a lot of synergies as we are doing, as you mentioned, Web3 acceleration for startups in the space. You're doing hackathons to actually onboard a lot of builders to do the first steps and provide first source of funding. And both of our communities, so to say, are in each other's stages where it fits. No, like we have in our community still builders that are not at the level yet to participate in our accelerators because there are still some steps missing. So a perfect chance for them is to actually join the hackathons on Tech Fiesta. And on the other hand side, when they join those hackathons, advanced their project to a certain level, let's say to have a first MVP, to then apply to the accelerator programs of the Blockchain Founders Group and bring it to even another level, broaden the mentor network to help them broaden the investor network, and also get to additional funds in this case. So yeah, very excited there. And yeah, maybe some words more to the Blockchain Founders Group itself. So we do Web3 acceleration. For this, we offer three programs right now. One is blockchain agnostic, so doesn't matter in which blockchain you're building, you can join this program. And then we have two programs that are in partnership with blockchains. One is with the Algorand Foundation and the other one with Concordium, which are two very interesting blockchains to build on and to get like extra support specifically from their ecosystem too, and a little bit more of funding when you're joining those programs. So I would say that's all to the introduction, and I will share my screen and
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Jona, for announcing that. For everyone that is listening to this presentation, I would very warmly recommend the Blockchain Founders Group as an accelerator if you're at that stage to join an accelerator. And as Jona mentioned, they have this two cooperations with two blockchains. I am personally working already with Concordium, which is one of the blockchains, a very amazing team, a very interesting technology as well. TechVS is partially powered on Concordium. We're using the ID identification feature and the Concordium wallet for the distribution of on-chain credentials. They have a really good wallet for that. So I can very warmly recommend to everyone to join the Blockchain Founders Group if you're at that stage.
Great. So yeah, excited to share about the roadmap to turning your idea into a successful business. Yeah, I talked already about the Blockchain Founders Group. To me, as a person, quickly, like I'm a specialist in business development, have a deep passion for startups and the blockchain technology, and my core experiences are or started in the antivirus industry, then telecommunication, e-commerce, and now totally focus on startups and Web3 on the one hand side, working for the Blockchain Founders Group, and on the other hand side, I started a incubator program focused on the Latin America region. So the agenda for today is that, first of all, we start with risks when creating a product that you should definitely have in mind, be aware that those are there, and connected to this, like certain questions that you should be able to answer proper to avoid those risks actually. Then we go to the ideation and validation process, which also includes the actual business model. And then a little bit about to secure funding, and at the end we will have a Q&A session. As I will go through a lot of different topics that many of them you could do a whole session about, I will rather cover them like on a channel base, on a surface base, and I would suggest we use the Q&A session that where you specifically want to dive in deeper, you ask in the Q&A session, and then we use this space to dive in deeper to the topics that you specifically want.
No problem, no problem. I think I want to mention here, this slide totally resonates with me. If it's okay in the end, in the section, I can also share a little bit of like examples from here and why these points are so important. And when you start a business, you really have to think about these things. Otherwise, you'll be making some very big mistakes that will cost you in the end a lot of time and a lot of money. But yeah, thank you for presenting this.
Exactly. Like also all those risks mentioned will be partly or fully covered in one or the other way in this presentation. So here we are at the point how to actually get started. No, and you see here on one view, like very quickly summed up, the whole process of ideation and validation. We will go into some more detailed parts then. It's everything starts with some idea that you have, and this idea is the most important part here is, again, that it solves a problem and has a big enough market size. Like that is what you should think of and focus on of your base idea that you have. Then you start, and here execution and test means really the idea itself in a very dynamic and quick way, the lean startup way, in other words. So execution means you quickly build the needed things to then test the idea. And the test means you get a very quick, within 1 to 3 weeks, a market feedback if there is actually demand or not. And if this is evaluated, then you move further with building everything out. It doesn't make too much sense to build half a year, 1 year, or even longer on your idea to then bring it out to the market and actually figuring out, oh, there's no other market demand, or we need to actually change major things. To do this in parallel makes a lot more sense that you can advance. And here I added this line: successful startups emerge from a keen understanding of market problems. To really understand your market where you're operating in. In our case, it's the Web3 sector, and understanding where are there major problems that that users, businesses, that any stakeholder in this market is facing, and then building a solution for this is at the end the key that you will get people that will pay for it, and you will get to the point to have a sustainable business. Regarding the idea, is when you have a base idea, you bring it into a business model. And here it's just wonderful from my point of view to use the lean canvas business model. It is a one-pager of your whole business, like bringing your idea on this one page, and this covers all major parts that you need to consider for your business. I added here numbers for a possible like order in how to fill it. There is not the one single order how to fill it, but I will go here through the ways and parts what is needed. Again, here we start with what problem are you actually solving. He suggested, for example, list your customers' top 3 problems. And of course, the existing alternatives, meaning you should do a competitor research. What is already out there? Why in the risk we had the part, you need to know how to differentiate yourself. So to differentiate yourself, you should also know who is actually already like solving these problems, who's working on this. To understand your customer segment in point 2 is vital. No, it's you will see this also in the next step. It's all about, okay, you have your product or service that you want to build, and you need to make this fit to the customer segment that you're facing. No, and here maybe as a mini detail, you can find in channel the Canvas business model, which looks a little different than this one. I specifically like the lean Canvas business model because on the one hand side, this one is really like orientated on problem solution, and it adds some details like competitor research, and also here in the customer segment, the early adopters, which is also something super important to consider when you're just starting out. When you're just starting out, it means you will create a first MVP, a minimum viable product, meaning a first version of your product that will not include all the features, all the functions that you want to actually give to it, that will probably have at the beginning the one or the other small issues. So what you should look at is not for whatever customer that might fit, but really try to narrow this down to the people who are your early adopters, that are interested to test something new, that are interested to use your product, even though it's not perfectly built out yet. And from this base of early adopters, that really start to connect with your business, to like it, to give you a lot of feedback that you need at the beginning, this is a perfect base to then scale it. Going then further to the unique value proposition, super important. To this, I will detail it in a moment. Also, the customer segment, those two parts is like, as you have here a one pager. It's amazing to have all your business at this, but it's also a lot compromised. No, so especially to the customer segment and the unique value proposition, there are additions that I will come in a moment to. Then to actually point out your solution, what you're actually building to solve the problem that you want to face. To unfair advantage, a very interesting point is like, okay, what is your unfair advantage against the competitors? This might be from the founder team itself to the product or service that you're building, that there you have something. If you can find unfair advantages that you have against competitors, it's a huge bonus on the one hand side to moving your business further, and on the other hand side to get at a certain point to fundings from investors. That is a huge part what they why they might be investing in you if you have strong unfair advantages. What are your revenue streams? So through which sources do you actually generate revenue? Super important. We talk about a business, so somehow you need to have revenue sources, get to some income. Your cost structure. So here you have already like all your costs, all the revenue at the end will result in your potential profit. The key metrics of your business. So here you should list your KPIs, your key performance indicators, like the key numbers that tell how your business is doing, meaning with those numbers, maybe as a suggestion, have there 3 to maybe 5 that with these ones you really define, are you properly moving forward or not. It's very important to track always your advancement of the business, because only if you track how you're actually doing, connected to what you did, then you know what worked, what didn't work, and with this you can test and improve by moving forward. And last but not least, here listing the channels, like how you actually connect with customers. Here specifically for Web3, community is a very important factor. So the channels actually play an even more vital role than before, but are always important. You need to be somehow in contact with your customers. In the Web3 space, even more this community part comes here on top. So when you're creating a product from a business perspective, there are 4 major risks, starting with the value risk. And for the value risk, you should definitely have a very good answer for those 3 questions. What problem do I solve? And is it big enough? That's your core base. We will hear this also a few more times in all this presentation. Is like, you will start to come up with an idea, but this idea should actually solve a problem. Why? Because you need to have someone that is paying for what you're doing. If no one pays for it, that's not a business. So for this, you should actually solve a problem that is there, and you should look that this is big enough that actually with the time you can build a company, a business that can live from that. No. Additionally to this is, how is my product different from competitors? if you just build exactly the same than your competitor, but don't know how to differentiate from them, there's the value risk that the customers will not use your product, but rather the ones from your competitors. So you should definitely know how you differentiate yourself from them. And connected to the first point, is there any kind of evidence that customers are willing to pay? Who is willing to pay for what you're going to build? And is there a certain evidence that that they will pay for it? Because if you're trying to build something that at the end no one is paying for, again, that's another business, no? The usability risk. So is my product easy to understand and use? All about the user experience that you have there. But very key, like if you build a product that is fine with the value risk, but it is just not nice to use. People will maybe pay once for it, but then offboard immediately. You need to take care that your product is easy to understand, easy to use, and that they're ongoingly using it, depending there a little bit on the service or product that you're building. So you should also understand what are potential pain points when your users are interacting with your product, so you can improve them and also see what are pain points that might be at the beginning to have, that are not major pain points that the customer would leave you, but also identifying those major pain points that you need to tackle immediately. And then, of course, do I get continuous user experience feedback? So this is all a development. No, it's not a one-time thing. It's like ongoingly, you should look that you receive feedback from the users about their experience with your service, with your product, so that you're always aware and quick aware when there are major pain points, for example, that are there, why users are dropping off, why users will not continue to use your product or service, or at the end pay for it. The feasibility risk, it's on the one hand side, you yourself, if you want to build something, do you have the needed resources? This means that you don't need to have all the resources like by yourself, but you should know what can you bring to your business and what are the other parts that maybe you yourself cannot bring. But for this, you're looking for a co-founder, for freelancers or other type of workers, or somehow contacts that can help you to solve this. At the end, you need to know what is needed to actually start and continuously to build and maintain your product and service, or your business in general, better to say. Regulatory restrictions is of course a big topic in the Web3 space, as many countries are not completely clearly or have not yet complete clear regulatory guidelines there. So this is something to check on from the beginning, and then see how you can manage it. How big is the risk there that you might have if you're starting in a gray zone? I think it's totally okay as right now. It is very unclear, but you should be at least aware of the risk and the probability that with the time this will be regulatory cleared. Another restriction might be also technical restrictions to consider, that maybe you can start it out, but for the future there are still technical things missing to actually proper execute your business. Also, the point of scalability and future growth is something, yeah, to definitely have in mind. Like, okay, I can start out there. Okay, I can think of my first customers, but okay, what's next? Know how to really build it to a growing business. yeah, that can self-sustain at a certain point. And the business viability risk. Do I have the needed? Oh, sorry. There, no, sorry. There is a mistake in the presentation. Yeah, I doubled here the point. So as mentioned, going quickly back, the customer segment, also including the early adopters and the unique value proposition. There are additions to detail this more, to go there more in depth, because those two parts are really core. So on the one hand side, it makes sense to build your buyer personas, meaning you go even more in detail to who your actually customer is. And this, for example, at the beginning, to make for your early adopters. For this, you should know about the demographics of the person that you're focusing on, their behaviors, their motivations, their challenges. And based on this, you can really know how to properly target, how to adapt your product to your users. Here is the next step, the value proposition. Wait, sorry. Yeah, to detail on the one hand side more your value proposition that we also had in the business model lean canvas, and then connect it with your customer profile that we just talked about with the buyer persona. And you should work on making this fit to each other. So what is your value proposition, meaning what products and services do you actually offer, and what gain creators and or pain relievers does it have, and how does this fit to your actual customer profile? Customer jobs means what are the customers actually doing related to the product or service you're offering, and what do they see as gains, and what pains do they have? And with this fit, you can look then, okay, what pain relievers do you have for the pains that your customers right now have in the way that they are dealing with the problem that they have, and the gain creators. So what adds on top, what improves the situation that they're actually on. This combination will lead with the time. It takes quite some time to get to this point, but to the product market fit. This is what you actually want to do. You want to build a product where you have a market for, and this market is super interested to use your actual product. And yeah, this is a summary just. This is where you can really tailor and lead to by being very aware what is your value proposition, who is your buyer persona, and then combining these 2 points. Very, very important to properly understand both parts deeply and make here the connection. So moving further with the execution and testing part. So we're now in the validation part. So all that we talked about before was the ideation part. So execution means or what I mean here with this is really the first simple steps of when you have this idea mapped out, how what are the first steps to execute it, meaning you create a corporate identity, meaning you give a brand, you give a name to your business so people can start to connect and relate to it, have some kind of attachment. You create your backend IT infrastructure. Sounds complicated. Is simply, okay, what is it actually that your business needs? Okay, probably you should have an email address to contact you. maybe one thing. Or so you create an email account. Okay, what are the other things to manage your business tasks? What are the things to yeah to do your business? Do you need a website? So build up this, and then you go live. At this stage, it's a website and social media, meaning at this stage you have your idea and actually bring it to words, bring it to paper, so to say. This can be also, yeah, on Figma, your product, no? Like the very basic, simple steps, but they that are needed to actually properly understand and then, like, understand yourself. How can be, in theory, the way, meaning the idea into paper, it's another thing than just having it in your head. And with this idea, you can do then with this base, you can have then the first testing, because when you share about your idea, when you share um, about a very basic product only based on Figma, then you can get some first yeah market feedback, meaning when you go out to test, you should look, okay, how can I growth hack my presence? Meaning, okay, my social media, how can I get more people seeing what my idea about is by posting about it, by sharing about it, by doing Twitter Spaces, by interacting with yeah with potential first users. And on the other hand side, okay, how could I get traffic to my website, or in channel what I'm sharing there at the beginning? When you while you're doing this, you should check like the adoption rate and the traction that you're getting. Meaning, okay, um, how many, like, started with, okay, how many um, followers on social media do I have? This doesn't tell too much, but it's a first simple indicator. Okay, how much interaction do I actually get with the things that are posting? Um, do people actively, proactively approach, comment, show certain interest? No, that is the first base. On the other hand side, without having a product yet, you can still build a wait list that people could sign up to be the first ones to actually test your product. This helps you to have a base of people that when your product, your first version is out, to have people that get it tested. And this also tells you a lot about how much people are actually interested in your idea, no? So it's another factor to check. And if there is enough traction is quite broad, is difficult to say. Let's say for you enough traction at this moment, um, go ahead. If there's too little traction, then you should like yeah reject, meaning you should pivot in one or the other way. There yeah, we come here too. So what if the market shows no interest in your solution? On the one hand side, you should understand why. For this, you can conduct interviews with potential customers or stakeholders. In general, like, try to interact as much as possible to them, approach them, ask them, and yeah, one way is to do direct interviews with them, but also any kind of information or content that they are sharing with you is valuable to evaluate there, to try to understand, okay, what is missing, why is there no interest yet. And about the pivot that I was just talking about, if necessary, you should be willing to pivot. This can be a smaller pivot, meaning, okay, I still stay with my same idea, with my same business model, but rather I try to focus on another um, customer segment. But it might also be, okay, I should somehow consider to change my business model. I'm charging too much, or I should charge in another way. There are also the certain variables that could affect this. And what should be also considered is, should you pivot maybe your product or service entirely? Meaning, if you come to the point that your your actual idea that you started with is not resolving a big enough problem. There is not enough pain for the people to actually get involved with this kind of product. Um, yeah, consider to pivot there. And to this point, I actually don't know any founder who started with his idea and until now, like all the time that he's building, he completely stick to his very first base idea. What I want to say with this is, pivoting is very natural, is nothing bad. You should not see it as a loss. Um, it's rather, you should gain understanding of your market, of your customer segment, and build something that relates to them, or knowing a problem that is really worth to fix. Meaning, when you just have an idea, you're very few probably into the topic from a business point of view. Maybe you gained experience over years of it, or whatever, but building a business for it is something different. Meaning, with all the time that you're building on it, that you get connected with customers, it's just natural to pivot in the one or the other way, um, your business. So it's not a loss. It's nothing bad. It's rather something quite natural if you do it in a good and proper way. Meaning, always understand why is a pivot maybe needed or not. So in case you can validate market demand, then it's up to you, like how you move further. There are several ways on how you can like move further. It's like bootstrapped, means you just have the possibility to move ahead with your own financial ways. Like you can um, yeah, you can finance it by all yourself and don't need third parties to do so. You can look for investors to get some funding for your idea. If you really validated that there is a market demand, it's very likely that there might be investors out there that are interested to invest in this, because you can show, hey, I have a product where is demand, and I have the abilities to build it. So that's a very good base. Or you might also consider to join then incubators, accelerators, to bring yeah, your whole base that you've built so far to a next level. And maybe they themselves invest in yourself, or they can connect you then to investors, which is also connected in there. An exit at this stage is very difficult, as you have just an idea base. But who knows? You might also be able to sell this idea, but rather unlikely. That's more in the case of patents, for example, I would say. So regarding securing funding, I will go rather rough over this, because I think the most here are rather in its early stages. So I don't think it makes sense to go there now too deep into, but give you an idea of what opportunities are there. And one opportunity that you have right in front of your face is by participating in hackathons. Meaning, um, uh, yeah, on the Tech Fiesta platform from Ecolens, you have actually the first source of first potential fundings that you could secure when you're in your very first stage. Then applying for grants is another way, meaning grants, especially, I mean, can be there are also government funds, but what I mean here specifically too is especially funds, grants from blockchain protocols. Blockchain protocols are very interested that more and more um, projects, products are built on their protocol, meaning they give you a certain support also from their side, which can be financial, but maybe also even from a marketing side. So when you evaluating to build in this space and evaluating the blockchain protocols, of course, it's important to choose one that is reliable, that has a good team that will continue to work. No, but also take into consideration how can they support you. What kind of grants do they give? There are different kind of grants that you could receive, and what other supports do they give, and take it also in your evaluation on which blockchain protocol you're building. And of course, to do investment rounds. Like an investment round is at the end up to you when you want to start it. What you should have as a minimum is the steps that we just talked about. You should have very clear what problem you're solving. You should have at least a base evaluation of market demand. That's the real minimum that you should have. The more you can demonstrate based on the product that you have, based on traction that you got, based on maybe users and customers that you already have, the easier it gets, of course, to convince investors, because here it's all about getting trust from someone that you most probably don't know, um, to fund to fund your project. There's also the so-called family and friends round. If you know, like in your family and friends part, that are people that have some money on the side. Of course, it's more easy there to try to get to a certain amount of funding, but to not waste this. Also, there you should have your business idea very well pointed out. What do you need for those investment rounds is what I just talked about, and then creating actually a pitch deck for those investors. To the pitch deck, I will come quickly after the slide to the contents that you should or can put in there. And how to find investors is going to relevant events in the Web3 space, where you where investors are also going, joining as mentioned incubator or accelerator programs, or just use social media. Here I put LinkedIn. There are also certain other platforms where you can list yourself and investors see you, but LinkedIn is a way where you can very specifically search for investors that might want to invest in you. Of course, it's also about doing research, visiting websites of venture capitals, for example. Look what is their investment thesis, um, and trying to understand if the investor fits to what you're building. And at the end, what they usually request is that you send them their your pitch deck, and if they're more invested, they will invite you and you can talk to them. The best here is always if you get a warm introduction. So if you know someone who knows the investor, but it's something difficult, so here it depends on you if you have this or not. If not, it's about the work to put in to first of all work on your business itself, and then it's a whole lot of work to look and do like to look for investment and do those investment rounds. Regarding the pitch deck itself, I have here listed like some must-haves. It's again here we see problem, solution, the business model itself, your competitors, the founder team, and the financing plan. Meaning you're asking for an investment in your project. So you should also, to gain trust, show for what are you actually need this. How does this actually help your business to scale further? Why? Because an investor has also interest. An investor is investing in your project for receiving a share of your company. And what they're interested in is that your company grows to a big amount, that in 5 to 10 years, to say it very rough, that they can get a multiplicator of their initial investment. And nice to have points are market validation. Why now could be an interesting point if you have there something that could capture them, about the product itself, the market size, your competitive advantage, the marketing plan or your go-to-market strategy, your traction, or the milestones that you already reach or are aiming to reach. And maybe if you have testimonials, could be also something to add in. So also here you see that kind of all the parts are covered. To go there quickly back to the lean business model, lean business model canvas. Yeah, like this is a really important and strong base to build out very good. To also not do just once and then leave it on the side, but continuously enhance, improve, and have then also this for your pitch deck that you're actually building and doing to investors. To conclude the presentation today is like certain errors to definitely avoid is don't fall in love with the solution. This is when you think like, oh, I don't want to pivot, I have such a good solution. No, rather fall in love with a problem that you've identified, a problem that is big enough, and that this you want to solve. Doesn't matter exactly with what solution, but you will figure out what is the right solution to solve this problem. And a good product still sells itself. Yeah, that's unfortunately not the case. So it's not only about building it, it's also about how to communicate it actually out, doing the business development part, meaning the sales part, the marketing part. Communicating it out is super important. I can't move forward without financing. You need to first of all move forward and move forward and forward until you have a point that you are able to convince investors to invest in you, to gain their trust to invest in you. And this they will only do if they see like enough traction or like the, yeah, to gain trust in that you can execute this. So the more you can show, the better it is. Maybe it's already your history of experience that you've built up. Okay, then it might be that very early you can get to some funding. If you don't have this, or if still you don't get to, move ahead with your actual product as much as you can. There are many things that you can move forward and do that cost you time but no money. Stop when problems arise. I mean, like building a business is all about facing problems and looking how to solve them. So if you come first to major problems and then you think like, huh, maybe it's not worth it, then you should reconsider being an entrepreneur and building your own business, because that's actually where it comes to who is a good entrepreneur or not. It's like you will always face major problems, very difficult situations. So this is exactly the time to figure out how to solve it and how to move forward. And not having a clear vision and a clear why is, from my point of view, also something very important. also connected to what I just mentioned. You will face very, very difficult times, times where you're thinking of quitting, and having there an actual clear vision. Where do you want to go with this? Why do you want to actually build this? This can be the actual differentiator, what makes you moving forward, and yeah, keeps you building. So that's all from my side. As mentioned at the beginning, we can go now into more depth in the one or the other topic in case you have there certain specific questions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jona. I think the last slide is my favorite one. It was a fantastic presentation. I think that I will go back, print out the Lean Business Model Canvas, and do this again for Ecolens, because I'm excited, to reevaluate everything. I haven't done this for a very long time. And as you mentioned, it's important to always reevaluate, analyze, and test, and try new things and see what's working. So yeah, thank you for the tools that you mentioned and explained. Thank you for giving a lot of examples how we can also quickly test an idea and see if it's a valuable business idea. And now let's see if we have some questions. So we have one comment in the comment section. So Janio is thanking you for the presentation. And I want to ask the participants, if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself or you can put your questions in the chat, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, maybe also quickly to the point that you just mentioned. I think that's exactly it, that businesses that are already running should not forget about those points. It's not that every month you need to reevaluate, that would be too much. But every now and then to do a step back, have a look like to the questions, for example, of those problems, making them clear for you again, to figure out actually where do you maybe still have pain points for your customers. I mean, this customer and product evaluation is something that never ends at the end. No, it's always moving forward, getting better, and understanding them as good as possible. And at one point, you will then expand to a new customer segment, but there it's again the same thing. So it's of course vital when you just start out, but for a running business, it's also good to actually reconsider those points.
Absolutely. All right. There is one question. Does BFG has ways to connect founders to VCs?
Yeah, like the Blockchain Founders Group itself, at the end of their programs, they evaluate if they themselves want to invest in one of the projects. And apart from this, they are organizing a demo day where startups are doing the pitch of their um, of their projects, and they will invite their also external investors to be able to invest. And apart from this, we have a strong investor network, especially in Europe, where it might be also the possibility to connect the startups to. Also, over time, certain investors approaching us sometimes because they're always interested in having a certain deal flow, meaning new projects that they can evaluate to invest in. So yeah, definitely.
All right. Any other questions from the crowd? Okay. Ibrahim is writing, I really enjoyed this, sir, but may I ask, how can strategically network with investors?
Strategically networking with investors. I mean, yeah, that's like that's the difficult part. And the first phase is look in the network that you already have. Do you have there a certain way to connect already to some? Because like mentioned, warm introductions will help you. Meaning, some if you know already an investor yourself, or if you know someone who knows an investor, and they might introduce you, this helps you a lot to go further. No, and other than that, it's also about cold outreach, meaning going on LinkedIn, filtering there for certain investors, going to events, trying to figure out who are the venture capitals there or angel investors that are on the events, trying to talk to them. And when you have built like a first base that most likely you will get a lot of no's. You will that no one they don't want to invest in you, but try to always ask if it's fine to stay in contact, and maybe ask for their email and send them, because you ask about a strategic way, send them, for example, a monthly update about your advances, so you stay on on their mind, like you stay on their radar, you show that you're actually advancing, and that's something important for them. So to build a certain like lead list or list of investors that agree that you can send them ongoingly updates, I would say that is a very good base to build this investor relation base.
Maybe one thing that I can add, what I usually also do is if someone says, no, I don't want to invest, I ask them, okay, do you know anyone that would be a good fit as an investor for us? Because it's also about the investment thesis of the investor. Maybe they don't want to invest in a Web3 startup, but maybe they know someone that wants to invest in a Web3 startup, for example.
Yeah,
super important point. Yeah. All right, I don't see any other questions in the chat. And we're actually, our time is up. So Jona, I want to thank you so much for this presentation tonight. It was extremely informative. And I screenshotted some of the slides and will share them as my own content, of course, referring to you. But there were some really, really good points. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for listening, and yeah.
Yeah. And yes, and everyone that participated tonight will also receive a soulbound token for your participations, guys, because as I mentioned in the beginning, we are building a solution where you can view your on-chain certificates in your own wallet, and you can share them with employers. So you will receive an email with the mint link for your soulbound token, so you can start collecting your on-chain certificates. All right, thanks everyone, and have a great evening, day, or yeah, great time. Bye.
Bye.